Hello students, welcome back to Science and Math Tutor. Today we are discussing finding nth term for arithmetic sequences. This is a very usual question in our IGCSE, okay, where we have to learn four different types of sequences. One is arithmetic sequence, quadratic sequence, cubic sequence, and the last one geometric sequence. So we'll be learning all these sequences with a few examples and simple tricks. Okay, so now today this video is all about arithmetic sequence and I'll be doing three different kinds of questions and hopefully you'll get all of these. And main thing is the concept, you'll get the concept. So first we'll start with question number 1. Okay, so here the question is 4, 9, 14 and 19. So when you see the question, you can easily figure out that 4 plus what gives 9? It is 5. So 4 plus 5 gives 9. Similarly, plus 5 gives 14 and 14 plus 5 gives 19. So here the difference is same to same. That is why we call these numbers as arithmetic sequence or these sequence or the sequences as arithmetic sequence. So we are getting plus 5. So next 19 plus 5 gives 24. Okay, so the next term is 24 and we have to find nth term. That's the main thing here. So we will be discussing how to do it. So first thing, a simple step. What do you have to do? Whatever same difference you get, you just write that difference as 5n, that is in terms of n. This is what I meant. So what is this n? N is basically the position number. Okay, on what position? Position 1, position 2, position 3, something like that. Okay, so n is position number, like 4 is on first position, 9 is on second, this is on third position, this is on fourth position, something like that. So we have written 5n. Okay, now what do you have to do? The next step, you have to write unknown and 5n. So basically unknown is your sequence 4, 9, 14 and 19. Whereas 5n is basically, n is the position number. So 5, first position is 1. So 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 3 is 15. 5 times 4 is 20. And the next thing what do you have to do is you have to subtract these numbers. Okay, so basically you have to subtract these numbers. So what do you get when you subtract it? When you subtract it, you get 4 minus 5 is minus 1. 9 minus 10 is minus 1. So basically in all the cases you get minus 1. So when you get the same difference, you stop there, okay, and you write that difference, okay, minus 1. And that is your, basically that is your nth term in this case. You just need to write these two together. It is 5n minus 1. This is your answer for this question. Now look at question number 2. Okay, so here the position is 1, 2, 3, 4. I have mentioned it, and the terms are 25, 22, 19 and 16. So when you look at the difference, what is the difference? 25 minus 3 gives 22, 22 minus 3 gives 19, 19 minus 3 gives 16. So basically the difference is negative 3. So what do? You have to write it in the form of n. So you will make it like negative 3n. That's it. Stop there. Next, which is unknown and the negative 3n. So I'll write this unknown. Unknown will always be your sequence. So I'll write it as 25, 22, 19 and 16. Whereas the minus 3n will be, so basically 3 times 1 is, or you can say minus 3 times 1 is minus 3. minus 6, minus 9 and minus 12, and you have to subtract all of these numbers. So how do you subtract it? You need to just take care of a small thing, that this subtraction is 25 minus minus 3, or you can say 25 minus negative 3. So that becomes plus. So 25 plus 3 gives what? It gives 28. 22 minus minus 6 makes it plus 6, so 28. So in all the cases you will be getting it as 28. Okay, so this 28 is positive. Okay, your answer here is in positive value, so you just write it as 28 or positive 28, anything is fine. So here what will be your answer? Your answer will be something like this. You just need to circle these two things down. Either you can write it as minus 3n plus 28, or it can be written as 28 minus 3n. Both of these are your answer and they will give you same values. Okay, last question seems to be very tricky, okay, because the first one is 3 by 7, 4 by 10, 5 by 13. Okay, so you have to predict the next term, fourth term. What can the fourth term be? So here the prediction is very simple. You have to solve numerators separately and denominator separately. You can look at the sequence in the numerator: 3, 4, 5 and 6 divided by 7 plus 3 is 10, 10 plus 3 is 13, so 13 plus 3 is 16. So here I can say that the next one is 6 by 16. Now the question arises, how do we do this? Okay, do we have to use some of the decimals or something like that? No. You just need to do a very simple thing. You have to solve two different sequences. First, numerator, like I'll show you. First, you can solve only for the numerator. Okay, write numerator in the form of a sequence: 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so what is the difference you can do? It's plus 1 every time, plus 1. Then you write it as 1n, or only n will also be fine. So you can write it as n or 1n. So I'll write it n. Okay. Then the next same thing we have to follow: unknown and n. So unknown will be 3, 4, 5 and 6, and n will be the position number. If there's like there are no numbers 1, 2, 3, n, so you just have to keep it as 1. N is 1, so first position is first, second is 2, 3 and 4, and then you have to do subtraction of these. Okay, and when you subtract these, what would you get? You get 2 every time. 3 minus 1, 2, 4 minus 2, 2, 2, 2. So in all the cases you are getting 2. So you write that 2 as well. Okay, so what are you left with? You are left with n and 2. So what is your answer for the first part? It is here n plus 2. Okay, that is the solution only for the numerator, right? The denominator. So in denominator we have the sequence something like 7, 10, 13, 16, and when you see the difference, it's plus 3 every time. So if it is plus 3, it will become 3n. So I'll make it 3n. Okay, that's one thing. Now after 3n, what do you have to do? You have to follow the same procedure: unknown and 3n. So unknown will be 7, 10, 13 and 16, whereas 3n would be 3 times 1 is 3, 2 is 6, 9 and 12. And when you see the difference between these, you just have to subtract these numbers. So 7 minus 3 gives what? 7 minus 3 gives 4. 10 minus 6, 4. So everywhere you get 4. Whenever you get the same difference, you stop over there and that 4 you write. Okay, and that's a positive 4. So you need to take care of one simple thing, that you're left with 3n plus 4. So that is your answer, like 3n plus 4. So you have two different sequences. First one for the numerator was n plus 2. I have already mentioned it over here. And now the next one is 3n plus 4. So this is your final answer for the sequence number 3. Okay, so I hope you have understood. I've made it quite simple. Hopefully you have understood.